It says in Shulchan Aruch that we're supposed to start early today, right? Is that what it says?
Can't start earlier than we are. I think we beat everybody.
Okay. So this is where we're holding. It's on the bottom of 41b. Mem Amud Bais. Mem Al. No. 40b. Mem Amud Bais. Starting with Amar Abzeira. It's 5 lines up from the bottom. Check. And you're going to follow in the Hebrew. Excellent. You see, the line starts Uval. At the end of there's a dot. On the bottom of the 5 lines up from the bottom.
Oh, from the bottom?
It starts with Amar Abzeira.
Yeah, right
Turn
there,
one more
down there.
page.
Yeah, he's got it.
No, but turn one more page so you can also have it in English.
Oh, I see, yeah.
So now it's going to start with Amar Abzeira in English if you want.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Is that the right one? Or
I
is it
think
over
it's
here?
another page. Maybe it's another page. No, looks like 6.
Okay. With the flow, it'll figure itself out. Amar Abzeira, Amar Rav Masna, Amar Shmuel. Rab Zeira says in the name of Rav Masna and the name of Shmuel. We had Rab Zeira often here. We had a discussion.
Contemporary.
It's usually Rabbi and Rab Zeira. Although Rab Zeira is probably younger. Rav Masna, Shmuel gives certain credit to Rav Masna. Sometimes when Rav Masna darshans psukim, it seems like Rav Masna was an expert in that. And he asks him, "What's the pasuk?" So Rab Zeira says in the name of Rav Masna and the name of Shmuel. Shmuel is the first generation. Ameret Cheles, which we're learning here, is tzitzis. Cheles is the blue wool, but it's referring to tzitzis. Ein ba mishum kalayim. There's no problem to have tzitzis that's made out of wool and linen, because the blue wool is wool, and the garment could be linen. Ba'afilu b'talis p'tura, and even if you put it on a garment that's exempt from tzitzis, it's still okay. The Gemara asks, "My talis p'tura? What do you mean a garment that's exempt from tzitzis? Give me an example. What's the case?" On the bottom of 40. We're about to turn the page to 41. If you mean to say that there's no that it's not the correct size that obligates the garment in tzitzis. For example, as we'll see in the Brisa. The Brisa is going to be a question, but we're going to see what it means that it's not the correct size. V'hatanya, but it was taught in a Brisa, it's the bottom line now, go another full page, yeah. And then we're about to turn it. Yeah, okay, so now we're about to turn the page. Tanya was taught in the Brisa, talis, a garment, a cloak, shahakatan miskasabay, that a child can wear, reisha v'ruba, and it will cover his head and his majority of his body. Katan, we put tzitzis on a katan, but he's not really chayiv in tzitzis. That's just chinuch. V'hagadol yotze b'derech harai, and an adult would wear it temporarily. So it would cover a child, and an adult would wear it temporarily. I think about this like sometimes would someone walk outside with a towel. A towel is not really a garment, but maybe temporarily someone would walk outside with some sort of sweatshirt that maybe temporarily. So such a garment is chayeves b'tzitzis. It's obligated in tzitzis. Now, ein katan miskasavai, if it's too small for a child, the place can go through what's considered, what's the real measurement for tzitzis. So all big machlekes. You want to know exactly? That's another discussion. if it's too small for a child. Good morning. Even if an adult would wear it temporarily, it's patura. It's exempt. Okay, so we know the size of tzitzis. It's the size that a child would wear. And the Brisa concludes, and the same thing applies to kalayim. Now, what does this Brisa mean? Again, we have to go back to discuss a statement of Reb Zera that says that you can have kalayim and tzitzis even if it's not the right measurement, even if the garment is exempt. But first,
Isn't shatnez woven together?
Well, it doesn't. Shatnez is usually when it's woven together. Here it's just tied.
So the threads aren't, the tzitzis aren't woven in with
Right.
it. What's the question?
Right, because if it's attached, that's already shatnez. If even the button is sewn on with linen thread on a wool garment, it's shatnez.
Okay.
So we have to figure out what this brisa means. V'havinun ba means we deliberated on this. My v'chein leinin kalayim. What does it mean that the same thing applies to kalayim? Ilema v'chein leinin yisur de kalayim. If you say that it means that the same way that the size of the tzitzis is the size of a child would wear, that's when it's chayav in tzitzis. That's the exact same time that you're exempt from kalayim. Because if it's chayiv in tzitzis, then the tzitzis is allowed to be kalayim. But if it's not chayiv in tzitzis, then it's exempt from. Then it's obligated in the laws of kalayim. If we say that's the pshat, v'anan tanan ein arai b'kalayim, because we can't say this because. Say it differently. No. If we say that when is there a din kalayim only in a beged that's big enough for a child, that's the pshat. But if it's a garment that's too small for anyone to wear, then there's no kalayim. If we would say that because it's not considered a garment, so but we have a mishnah that says ein arai b'kalayim. There's no such thing as temporary kalayim. That means, wow. I forgot the name of that.
This is one May.
This is a mamey. We call it the brown sugar fruit. So the problem is that there's no such thing as arai by arai means temporary. There's no such thing as temporary kalayim. That means even if an adult would never wear it, but he wears it now, it's still kalayim. So how could you say that a garment that's too small there's no kalayim? What are we getting out of this? The answer. Rather, what it means is, the way we explain that, it means that if it's chayiv and tzitzis, then there's no kalayim, because kalayim means shatnez, right? Because the tzitzis overrides the prohibition. The positive command to wear tzitzis overrides the negative command not to wear shatnez. But if there's no positive command of tzitzis because the garment is too small, then you have a prohibition of shatnez, of kalayim. Now, the problem with all of this, of everything that we're bringing out, is that Reb Zera said before that tcheles, tzitzis doesn't have a rule of kalayim, even if the talis is exempt from kalayim. We said, what do you mean exempt? If you say it's exempt because it's too small, there's no problem of kalayim, but we have a brisa that we didn't understand, that the explanation that we gave for it was that a talis that's too small has the prohibition of kalayim. So we're stuck with what does Reb Zera mean? Even a talis that's exempt doesn't have kalayim. You follow? Is that a yes or a no? Okay. Elamai p'tura. So now we have to go back to Reb Zera. What does Reb Zera mean that it's exempt, a talis p'tura, that there's no kalayim even in a talis that's exempt? Hitel l'mutala. He's talking about that you put a second string of tzitzis on each corner. You already had tzitzis there. Guy wanted to be either more wild or he wanted to remove the first ones, but first he put on the second ones and then he's going to remove the first ones. Whatever his
Can't do that either, though.
whatever his there's a problem with it.
Can't add or subtract.
Right. That's the problem we learned yesterday. But you see, he's not even in the seat and he's already.
It's a Kohen Gadol. That's reason. That's reason.
So
One of the meaning of Kohen Gadol to be Talmid Chacham, and he is.
so
You're not. That's it.
yesterday we learned that if you add tzitzis
Yes, you are the
to
sister
the four corners, you already have tzitzis, and you put on another tzitzis. We said it's kosher,
This is your sister.
and we asked, but there's a problem of
Check
kalayim
tzitzis.
because one of them is shatnez and the garment is linen, or that there could be, and one of them you don't need. We said, we had an explanation for it. It was a complex explanation, and because it was a prohibition, like Jonathan said, so therefore it's not considered that it's there. And then when you took it off, it's when you made it. But
Can
whatever
I make
the
one of
case,
these out of wool and linen? No.
the shatnez is only a problem if you wear it. This is you're not going to wear it.
But they have a question if you benefit from shatnez too.
That's if it warms his body.
It
Only
only
has
has
a
to do
pillow.
with clothes.
Yeah, or bedding, or something that you're going to get some benefit from.
Whatever benefit you get from this right here.
It's not a garment. There's a problem in a baseball mitt. There could be a problem. Something that's on you.
Something that you
That's
wear,
it there.
or that it's like clothing. It's clothing.
So, what does it mean that it's exempt? Because it already, when Reb Zera said that there's no problem of kalayim and tzitzis, even on a garment that's exempt, it's because there's already tzitzis on that garment. And those tzitzis we learned yesterday are the new tzitzis that you put on are kosher. The problem is, Reb Zera chadazimna. Yesterday we said Reb Zera says that it's kosher. If it's kosher, there's no shatnez. Why does Reb Zera have to repeat it again? He only said it once. It's a gesund. He only said it once, but the students repeated it a second time in a different context. So it looks like he said it twice, but really he said it once.
So you're allowed to
there's
put
two.
shatnez on tzitzis that's already exempt? That's already has strings on
Yeah, we have a problem of baltaisif.
it? Okay.
But even though there was a problem of baltaisif,
But
the
still,
tzitzis
it's
were
still
still
not.
kosher, or actually on not the contrary, because it was a problem of baltaisif.
Right.
So therefore, those second tzitzis were considered nothing because it was an isser.
Right.
So only when you take off the first tzitzis, those
Then-
tzitzis become made, so
Right.
that the second tzitzis become kosher only at the time that the first tzitzis were removed.
Okay.
And it's not considered tasav alei menaseh in a
Okay.
strange way, because it's considered like it's being made then.
So you're
So-
allowed to put you're allowed to put shatnez on that. And then I'm saying your second
Yeah,
set
but
is straight.
you have a second problem of the
Of
baltaisif,
baltaisif,
but
okay.
you remove that
You
when
work around it. Okay.
Okay. When we mentioned over here that a talis Ptura, but yesterday we learned this machlekes Taisvus, the Rambam in Taisvus regarding, or Rashi in Taisvus regarding tzitzis on pajamas, a garment that's worn at night. So the Gemara says that anything at night is pater from tzitzis. Taisvus says it doesn't really mean anything at night. It means anything that's meant to be worn at night. A ksus laila, a garment that's worn at night. But a day garment that you wear at night, regular clothing that you wear at night, is chayiv in tzitzis. There's this nice long Taisvus over here that discusses, he compares what the Kayanim wear, which is the Kayan Gadol, or possibly the Kayanim as well. The gartel is shatnez. What if they wear it? They're allowed to wear it. It's made specifically. It has to be made like that. What if they're wearing it not at the time of the Avodah?
And they're Chayav Misa also, no?
The Chayav would be if they enter into the certain places. Wouldn't be just for wearing the garments. Or let's say they wear it at night when they're not doing the Avodah. Or if they leave the temple and they're still wearing it. So, quotes an interesting thing. Taisus quotes that Shimon HaTzadik he goes out to visit Alexander. Remember the whole story?
He saw him
The
in a dream.
Samaritans
He saw him in a dream.
complain that the Jews are not good for Alexander, and Shimon HaTzadik goes out of the temple wearing the garment. How could he wear the garments? It's shatnez. He can't leave the temple with the garment. While you're doing the service, fine. He says it was a special event. Special.
כן, פיקוח נפש, הצלת נפשות מעם ישראל.
Okay.
No, seriously, no.
Okay.
He went out to meet him.
Right.
You know, it's not something, it's צו השעה. It's
Okay.
not something that is...
Good. You and Taisvis say the same thing.
Now you have to sit in.
You see, that's what we can...
Tano Rabbanan. Excellent.
Copy for me. After Yom Kippur, I'm
You know,
kicking
there was a story that there was a guy that was coming to his son in a dream. He passed away. He was coming to his son in a dream. And he was saying that he should convert to Christianity. So the son doesn't know what's going on. It's very strange. His father is coming. So he goes to Reb Zusha. He says, Reb Zusha, what's going on over here? My father's telling me I should convert. And he says, dig up the grave and see what's there.
In there, no?
They found coins from the grave diggers that had crosses on them. They took them out. So anyway, they it was like a miracle story. Everyone's talking about it. Anyway, it reached the Gra, the Vilna Gaon, that the Chassidish Rebbe did this miracle. So the Gra says it's not a miracle. It says it in the Yerushalmi. So it goes back to Reb Zusha, that the Gra says that it's not a miracle. It says it in the Yerushalmi. So Reb Zusha says, I have to tell you the truth. I don't know the Yerushalmi, but I saw it where the Yerushalmi saw it. Anyway, Rabbi Zevin wrote the story.
I just read that somewhere.
Oh yeah, it's in the Rabbi Zevin writes it in the Sipuri.
Oh, and that thing, yeah.
And Rabbi Zevin was visiting the Rebbe, and the Rebbe asked Rabbi Zevin, "Where's the Yerushalmi?" The whole thing is like it's just funny how there was no Yerushalmi. Okay, Tana Rabbanan. This is a brisa. Tana Rabbanan is an important brisa. Talis kfula. If the talis is folded, chayev b'tzitzis. It's chayev in tzitzis. Talking about on the fold.
That means he wears it folded.
He wears it folded, and the tzitzis go on the crease, on the fold.
Right.
Basically, like what we wear today.
No, we don't.
Well,
we don't
if
wear
your
it
talis would be twice the size, you'd fold it in half. Do you put tzitzis through the fold, like a double hole? You would have to punch a hole through both of them, and put the tzitzis through that on the crease, and then on the two corners. Reb Shimon Paiter. Reb Shimon says no, doesn't need any tzitzis. It's machlekes what exactly Reb Shimon holds. Doesn't need any tzitzis, doesn't need on the fold. B'shavin, but they agree. Shem kafla v'tafra shechayeves. That if you sew it on the fold, it's sewed up, then it becomes obligated in tzitzis. Rashi asks, he says, first the Gemara says, Pshita, obviously it needs tzitzis. It says, Leitzricha denakta b'sichi, that it wasn't really sewn. It had a interesting sort of stitch. Either it was used like a toothpick to stitch it, or it was long stitches which are meant to take out. Rashi asks over here that it sort of contradicts the Gemara that we said before, the Lamed Zayin, that anyone that sews up their garment, we don't trust that it's really sewn up, because if they didn't want that part, they would have just cut it off. We're afraid that they're going to take it out.
You know, when the tailor do measurement, he do a rough stitches.
Big stitches.
Big stitches,
right.
to be able
so that's exactly this. So even though it's sewn up with big stitches, it's still chayav and tzitzis on those corners, on the folded.
Because it's tight, it's stitched.
Rabbi Bar Rav Huna nikla lebei Rabbi Bar Rav Nachman. So Rabbi Bar Rav Huna goes to Rabbi Bar Rav Nachman's house. Chazi davi michsi talis kfula. He sees that Rabbi Bar Rav Nachman is wearing a folded talis. Rami lechute ilavei kfela, and he has the tzitzis are stitched through the fold. Pshita. It became unfolded. And he was wearing it with the strings on the inside, hanging in the crease next to his head. He didn't put it on the corner that God said in the Torah. It's not on the correct corner. So Asa Shadi, he goes and he takes it off. And he puts on another garment. Amalei, this is a classic. You think you fixed the problem by taking off the talis and putting on something else? Tzitzis has to do with the talis, not with the person wearing it. Even if it's not like Shabbos. Even if it's in your drawer. You still need to have tzitzis on it. And you put tzitzis, it has four corners, you put tzitzis in the wrong place. Zil Ramile, go put the tzitzis on in the correct place. Lema Misayale. Let's bring a proof to Rabbi Bar Rav Huna that tzitzis is a chayvas talis. That even if you don't wear the tzitzis, you still have to have tzitzis on it because you have a garment that has four corners. It doesn't have to do with wearing it. You compare this to a mezuzah. That goes in the house. But maybe that's a little later. I'm sorry?
Unless it's Sheamus.
Right. Well, yeah, I guess you can get rid of it. You actually don't need to put tzitzis and shemus. You can put them in a bag and throw them out.
But what about the tzitzit himself, the Shem Havaya on that? The tzitzit
Tzitzis themselves
Yes.
are also not shemus.
Where's the shame of that?
I'll prove it to you. Because you wear it in the bathroom.
They have custom of some.
What about a talis then?
No, one
Talis,
second.
you
We
can't.
can,
Talis is different.
some people take the tzitzit out before they go to the bathroom.
How do they do that?
1 second, explain that to me. What do? They take them off?
Yes.
And they wear four corners without, that's a lot of tying.
No,
and
no,
stuff.
No,
They
you
take
don't
off
have
the
to
whole
take off
garment.
They took the whole garment out and put it in the outside. They go to the bathroom, they put it back.
You ever saw someone do that?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
By Sfardim.
Uh-huh. So then Sfardim would probably, it's probably more shameless, and by us we wear it in the bathroom.
I know, I understand. Some of them put it inside of the
It's like the
tzitzit
yarmulke.
or cover the tzitzit himself, because you can go to the bathroom
Okay.
even with feeling. You can go eat, not in the hand, in case, whatever, a couple times that you can go to a bathroom if you don't
Number one.
Yeah.
Okay. Lema Messiah will bring a proof that tzitzis is in the garment. Chasidim Arishonim. We learned this yesterday. The early Chasidim, Kivan Sha'argo Bashalish. Once they weave, you see, when they would weave in the loom, it would make a long row, the warp in the west. It would send it through and send it back and send it through. When it reached the size of 3 fingers,
Smart.
so Matilim Batchelis, they would already put on the tzitzis.
You have all of
That's a proof
And good looking.
Yes.
that the tzitzis don't need to be worn to be chayiv in tzitzis. They're chayiv in tzitzis even while it's still in the loom.
And rich.
You didn't, right?
I mean,
It must mean it's a chayvas talis, not a chayvas gavra. Shani chasidim de machmri. That's not the machmri anafshaya. That's not a proof. You can't prove from the chasidim. They're extra strict. That's not a proof. What's the halacha?
What is it referring to when it says Chassidim here?
Hasidim Rishonim.
We learned yesterday. Chasidim Rishonim are people that do mitzvahs with alacrity. They want to do it right away. They have a misnagdish joke that they say.
Yo, what a music.
They say, why is a non-Jew,
Jaime, it's okay to
that's a
have
good
some
person,
music.
why is he called Chassidim Asylum? Why is a non-Jew that's very kind to the Jews a good person? They say it's Chassidim Asylum. Why do they call him a Chassid? Why is a Chassid? They say because Chassidim don't keep halacha. And there's a halacha that Esav hates Yaakov. So he doesn't keep the halacha. So we call him Chassidim. That's like, it's not English a joke. Okay. So you can't prove from the Chassidim what the halacha is because they're doing extra. They're doing it. That doesn't prove that the tzitzis needs to be on a talis even when it's not being worn. Upligi de malacha. And by the way, Rabbi Bar Rav Huna that holds that you need to put tzitzis on a talis, even if you're not wearing it, he argues on an angel. He argues with an angel. Why? The malacha ashkechel Rav Katina, because an angel found Rav Katina. I didn't get to look up the commentary in this, what exactly the significance is, which angel, and all of that. The Michse Sedina. Rav Katina was wearing a linen garment. Amalei, the angel tells him, Katina, Katina. It's like, my friend, Sedina Bekaita. You wear a linen garment in the summer. Visarbala Bistav. And in the winter, you wear a cloak that has only two corners, and the other one is, the other side is round. So you have exempted yourself from ever wearing tzitzis. Tzitzis shel tchelis mateyaleh. What's going to be with tzitzis? Amalei, ashisu aseh. What, are you going to punish me because I didn't perform a positive command? Punishments come for negative commands, violations, not for neglect of positive commands. Taisus points out that there's a Gemara Ksubas that says that if a person doesn't want to shake the lulav, the bezdin hits him until he doesn't want to make a sukkah, the bezdin hits him until that's an asay, that's a positive command. So Taisus says,
that's a specific time.
How many months?
Very good. Taisus says that's because it's a specific time. Yeah. Other commentaries say, see, look, it's traveling.
Yeah, but
Jeff, next is you,
You're
Jeff.
next. Other commentaries say that that there's a difference before the mitzvah, when we want him to perform the mitzvah, that the bezdin will hit him, and that go and make a sukkah, go and make do the lulav, or afterwards where you didn't do it. You don't get hit if you didn't do it.
How many malchut they get for not doing the mitzvah?
Ad shetetzi nafshay. They beat him until he'll perform it.
More than 40 malchut?
The question is this a din in bezdin, or is this that bezdin does it for the people, but really it's an obligation on every person? So some people wanted to say that the obligation that we have to do mitzvayim is if it's not a din in the bezdin to go and force people to do mitzvahs. Specifically, it's really on every individual. So we really have an obligation to make sure that people shake the lulav and sit in a sukkah. That's the obligation. It's that Gemara Ksubas that says that the bezdin would do it. So we don't hit, but we go and we say, excuse me, sir, you're Jewish, would you like, slightly different. Okay. It's based on a Nesivus. The Nesivus says that it's not, in Siman Gimel and Chosh Mishpat, he says that it's not on the bezdin. So Amalei, the Malach tells him back, Bisman de Ikaritcha, on Shinan, when there's a time of anger in heaven, so then people that don't perform the positive command also get punished. It's not a normal thing, but it happens that Bisman de Ikaritcha, this is a famous thing, Bisman de Ikaritcha, at the time of anger in heaven. That's why we wear tzitzis today, even though we don't have any obligation to wear tzitzis, do we? We don't have four corners. None of our garment. We take a garment with four corners. We put on a tzitzis, and it's all because of this mandik eritcha.
A scarf.
Yeah, if a scarf would be a problem. If it's folded out, if it's the right size and folded out, could be.
So it's a shmira, basically, right?
It's a shmira.
Yeah.
Where the turtleneck. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Scarf is a problem.
Where did I see this mandik eritcha?
It's a segula. It's like a segula.
Listen to this Gemara. If we say it's an obligation on the person, now we understand why he's obligated, why he has a complaint to him because he didn't put on, he wasn't wearing tzitzis. But if it goes on the garment, he had no. What are you saying? He was supposed to wear tzitzis. It doesn't have to do with him. It has to do with something that he owns. The Gemara asks back, I read that very quick because it's a flaw in the logic. So, but the Gemara asks it. Even if you say that it's an obligation on the person, although the Eibishter says, the Torah says that he's chayav, that's only if he's wearing a talis that has four corners. But but if he's wearing a talis that doesn't have four corners, does the Torah mechayiv? So it's anyways, it's no proof to anything. It doesn't prove Well, it's unclear. Rashi wants to learn that. Okay, let's finish the Gemara. Elahachi kamar. Rather, this is what he wants to say. Tatzteke lemifta nafshach mitzitzis. You're looking for excuses to get yourself out of tzitzis. Now, there's two ways of learning the Gemara now. Taisvis now says that if it wasn't an obligation on the individual, the question was obligation on the individual or obligation on the garment. If it's not an obligation on the individual, then there would be never a punishment. Even though we said that the individual needs to have a garment that's chayiv, but if it wasn't an obligation on the individual, then there would be no punishment even in a time of anger. However, Rashi says that from here, there's no proof to anything. Okay. Amar Rav Tuvia bar Kisna Amar Shmuel. Tuvi bar Kisna says in the name of Shmuel, Klei kufsa. Clay could also mean, it means a vessel, but it could also mean a garment. It's talking about a talis that's put in a box. Chayavim betzitzis. You have to put tzitzis on it. Umay de Shmuel, bezakin, sh'asal l'chvayde sheptura. Shmuel agrees that for tachrichem, for shrouds, right, for that are worn by after the person dies, an older person, he had it made for himself, he doesn't have to put tzitzis on it. My taima, that you will clothe yourself. But this is not made to be worn while he's alive, while he's chayiv. So he's not going to never ever need tzitzis. However, by hishaita, when he dies, they definitely put the tzitzis on, because they don't want him to feel bad. I don't know if this fits with the Gemara Nida. There's a Gemara Nida that says that they make it possible. That
Yes.
remember the
custom in the Lubavitch too, when you do taharos, not to make the tzitzit pasul, you open the pocket and put it inside of the pocket.
all four corners or one corner?
One corner.
One corner.
It's already not. It's not good. Let's make it, but
The Gemara Nida discusses if when Mashiach comes, if they're going to be chayiv in tzitzis, when they wake up, they're going to be wearing a garment without tzitzis, it's not appropriate. The Gemara discusses, will they be obligated or not? That's a Gemara Nida, samach something.
that's just the talis that they put on the mat.
Here it says that they put it on because of laig l'rush. They shouldn't be shaming a poor person because a person that's dead is pater, and then they put it on him to show like, oh, but you don't matter anymore. You don't need the tzitzis anymore. It's like mocking the poor that he's not obligated in
That's why when you go in the
tzitzis.
cemetery,
That's there is
It's
it. You put it, you tuck it in. You started, you know.
The interesting thing, the laws of yichud.
He's a
Someone just told me recently. The laws of yichud are very kind to older people, because even though
He's
there's a lady that's
perfectly
90 years
correct.
old, but there's still